Why are you filming here?
Because I'm well within my legal rights to do so.
But why?
It's a public service that the public
Have you
pay
a keen
for.
interest in the police?
Okay, I have an interest in all public services.
Welcome to our channel, where we expose wrongdoing, analyze police and court interactions, protect civil liberties, and call for genuine responsibility. Rate the Audits is bringing you this episode. Channel link is given below. Give him the credit he deserves by subscribing to his channel. In this video, an inspector rushes over, pretending that a significant crime is being committed, while Auditor Plod is legally filming from public land outside a police office. In an apparent attempt to intimidate Plod into backing down, he cites rules that don't exist, and is backed by two officers who join in with open animosity. They go further and abuse Section 50 to justify an arrest without a valid reason when intimidation fails. Plod won't give in. Rather, he transforms their wrongdoing into a legal battle, refusing to accept a simple resolution and demanding real accountability.
Just a little bit concerned as to why you're filming inside Sussex police premises.
Well, first of all, could you actually identify yourself properly for me?
Yeah, of course. My name's Inspector Simon Barden. I'm one of the duty inspectors up in our force.
Inspector?
Simon Barden.
Simon Barden, okay.
So I work in the force contact control room, so we're just wondering why you're stood on our property filming into...
No, I'm stood on public property.
Okay.
So let's verify that.
But you're filming into private property.
It makes no difference.
It does.
Why is that? What law am I breaking?
Because you're filming private property and you haven't...
It makes no difference.
Well, it does. You can't film into private property.
Yes, I can.
Okay, under what law?
Okay. The law is I can film whatever I can see in public. Okay, you can't trespass the eye.
The inspector is obviously out of his element from the first exchange. Filming cars or structures from a public location is not prohibited by UK law. An inspector, who is supposed to establish standards, ought to be aware of that right away. The inspector steps up and asks, "Under what law?" in response to Plod's question. The issue is shown by that query. Filming is not prohibited by law or requires authorization from the general public. To stop it, police need a legislation. Photography and videography in public areas are unquestionably protected by case law and Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights.
So there are staff members that are coming in. You're putting their security at risk because you could potentially...
I'm not putting anyone's security at risk.
But you could be, couldn't you?
No, that's a presumption. Okay, I'm not doing anything wrong.
No, it's not a presumption because I said you could. I didn't say you were. Okay. I said you could be. So that's not a presumption. That's me suggesting that you could be.
Okay. And how would I be putting their safety at risk then?
So what are you doing with those films?
Well, it's for personal use.
Okay. What personal use? Are you going to be sharing those online?
I don't know. Whatever personal use I wish.
Okay. So what is the purpose of you being here today, would be my question.
The police is a public service.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm here to actually record what the public pay for.
Okay, but this isn't the police station, this is police
headquarters.
It
makes no difference. The public still pay for it.
Okay, I don't understand what you're trying to achieve though, because if you want to make sure...
I'm not trying to achieve anything, I'm just filming what the public pay for.
Okay, but if you're trying to prove that the public are paying and getting value for service, surely you'd be better...
I didn't say that, I didn't say that at all.
So what did you say?
Okay, I said I'm just here to film what the public pay for, that's it.
Okay, for what reason?
My own reason.
The inspector starts requesting explanations instead of acknowledging that public filming is legal. For what reason are you filming? How are you going to use the video? Is it intended for individual use? Law enforcement is not what that is. It's a fishing trip. There was no crime being looked into. By making Plod defend an action that doesn't need justification, he was attempting to create one. Plod was not legally required to respond. By default, it is legal to film in public, and there is no regulation requiring people to give police an explanation for their actions. Recording is protected as a form of expression under Article 10. The inspector treated a right like a privilege by requesting explanations, acting as though Plod required formal permission to use it.
And do you come here regularly and do this?
That's irrelevant.
Okay. I feel like I've come down to have a conversation with you and engage with you, and you're not particularly willing to engage.
Yeah, but that conversation is irrelevant, okay? That's called fishing. For information.
It's not called fishing, it's called engaging with someone. It's called
I'll have a conversation about whatever you want, okay? But whether or not I've been here or not, or whether or not I'm actually filming, I'm just doing exactly what I'm perfectly lawfully allowed to do.
What my concern would be is that, do you pose a security threat?
Okay, your concern and what the law is are two different things.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Okay, your feelings and what you feel is not the law. Okay, right. What I'm doing is perfectly lawful.
Not if you pose a security threat.
In what way? You still haven't answered that.
Have you answered my question?
Okay, you still haven't answered that.
Have you answered my question?
I don't need to answer your question.
And I don't need to answer your questions.
Okay.
The inspector's use of nebulous security arguments exposes the hollowness of his reasoning. When cops don't have a valid reason, they can't use the word security. It takes a credible suspicion of real criminal action, not discomfort or sentiments, to restrict rights. There is a reason why pace and case law adhere to that criteria. Everyone would be a suspect if emotions were sufficient. Plaud reminded him that emotions are not the law, which sums it up well. Since there was no actual threat, the inspector was unable to identify any. Rather than confronting the legal realities, he sidestepped with immature answers like, "Have you answered my questions?"
Are you recording police vehicles? Are you recording information on police staff?
I'm recording whatever I can see.
Bear with me a second.
Why are you filming here?
Because I'm well within my legal rights to do so.
But why?
It's a public service that the public
Have you
pay
a keen
for.
interest in the police?
Okay, I have an interest in all public services.
So you do this on a regular basis?
Okay, that's irrelevant.
Well, rather than filming us, why don't you ask us some questions and if
Well,
you're interested in the police,
first of all, okay, if I had been approached correctly, okay, then I would have, okay, but your inspector hadn't, okay. You've come out, you've made an allegation, okay, towards me. No, you did. You made an allegation that your staff, okay, are alarmed and distressed, okay.
Yes,
you should know, as a constable, okay, you cannot be alarmed and distressed.
any person can feel harassment, alarm and distress.
Not when you're an officer. It is case law, and you cannot. You cannot be.
But let me speak.
Okay.
Let me get my point across so you can get yours. Okay?
Okay. I can film whatever the eye can see, sir.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. Okay, you've just said
Right.
what you want, so let me speak. Okay, members of staff leaving this building, this facility, in their plain clothes, in their own car, you filming them has caused them alarm, harassment and distress. Okay? They're not on duty as police officers, so they can feel alarm and distress.
The confrontation breaks down even more quickly after the two constables intervene. They assert that Plaud's recording distresses employees as they arrive and exit headquarters. But case law is unambiguous. Because of the nature of their work, police personnel are expected to withstand a greater degree of scrutiny and pressure. In an attempt to avoid that, the constables claim that these employees are just dressed and driving private cars. Nothing is altered by that. They remain affiliated with law enforcement, remain on police property, and remain a part of the organization under audit. When the uniform is taken off, accountability still exists. Officers' dislike of being videotaped cannot justify a twisting of Section 5.
All the way round, inside this property, okay, I can film.
It doesn't matter, when we book off our system off duty, we're off duty.
However, what
Okay.
we are going to clarify is whether what you're standing on is private land. So
It's publicly accessible.
No.
It's publicly accessible under Section 33 of the Criminal
We're
Justice
going
Act.
to find out whether
okay?
this part that you're standing on is private.
But then if you can show me the actual signs that state private property along there, okay, no public access, then fine, I will move on. Okay, but there are no
We're
signs,
giving you our
and it's
details.
publicly
What
accessible.
is your name, young man?
It's irrelevant.
You've clearly come here for an argument.
No, I haven't.
What
No, I
is the purpose of
haven't.
being here then?
Because I want to film.
Film what?
Okay, what the public
Film
pay
us
for.
leaving the building.
No, I'm filming what I can see.
Well, what
Okay.
you're doing is you're filming people leaving in their personal vehicles.
That's
Okay?
not exciting.
And that's a security threat.
No, how is that a security threat?
Their registration.
Do you,
That's
do
a
you
presumption.
not see what happens in the world?
That's a presumption.
You're not seeing what's happening in the world.
Okay, yeah, but that is a presumption, okay?
not a presumption.
And where you just said, okay, about to do with license plates, okay? License plates are in the public domain, okay? You guys have
But
access
you're-
to
what
that
you're doing is
information.
You're putting that on YouTube and you're specific.
Who said that? Who
You're-
said that? Whoa.
You're
Hang on a
filming
minute.
it,
Whoa,
you're gonna
hang
put
on.
it in the public
Hang on.
domain.
No.
Listen to me, and
You
could.
said that. I haven't
Listen to
said
me,
it, Jen.
I'm-
No, don't
listen,
shout at me.
Listen to me. I'm
Do
trying
not
to
shout
talk,
at me.
you're
No,
talking over
don't
me.
shout at me.
So let me have my piece.
Please do not shout
Let me
at
have
me.
my piece then.
Yeah, as long as
Let
you
me say
don't
my
shout at
piece.
me.
This is the point at which professionalism totally vanishes. One officer enters Plaud's personal space and unjustly crowds him after losing every legal argument. That is intimidation, not policing. Instead of using their physical presence as a weapon when they are wrong, officers are trained to de-escalate and maintain proper distance. The officer leans in and says, "Don't touch me." That wasn't a warning, even though Plaud did nothing of the sort. It served as bait. A setup that might be used to turn any unintentional contact into an assault accusation. It demonstrated that the police was simply concerned in catching people rather than upholding the law.
You are a public servant, okay? I am here as a member of the public to film public property, okay, and a public service that the public pay for, okay? I'm doing a completely lawful activity, okay? I'm breaking no law, I'm committing no crime, right? And I shall carry on about my business, okay? If you decide that you want to harass me, then you carry on and do that, sir.
The issue you have.
Could you step back a
is
little
that
bit,
what
please?
you're doing is you're causing our colleagues harassment.
Would you mind
alarm, and
stepping
distress,
back a little bit,
okay?
please?
You're causing our colleagues harassment,
Would you
alarm,
mind
and distress.
stepping back a little bit, please?
Okay. Why don't you step back further over there? To
No,
the pavement
because
over
I
there?
moved to here and you came to me. Okay.
I'll come
Just
to
because
you,
you're
because
I
it's strange,
moved
and
from
I'm
there
asking you
to
why
here,
you're filming.
and you
why you're
walked to
filming.
me.
I'm asking
Okay?
you why you're
If
filming.
you don't want to be that close to someone,
I'm
then
asking you
don't
why
walk
you're
up to
filming.
them that way.
Listen
Yeah?
to me for a minute.
Okay? If you ask your colleague to step back, I will talk with you.
Perfectly he's standing.
No, he's walked right the way up.
He's
Now,
not-
this is me
he's not in
feeling
your
alarm
personal
and
different-
distress.
He's not in your personal
Okay?
space.
Yes, he is. Okay? He's well within an arm's reach.
Don't
okay?
touch me.
I didn't touch you.
You touch me and you get arrested.
I
for
did
assault.
not touch you,
Understand
so
me?
let's get that right. I did not touch you.
Don't touch me.
Okay?
Touch me and you get
I
arrested
did
for
not
assault.
touch you, so
Okay?
you need to be quiet on that one. Okay? Don't tell me I touched you when I did not touch
Don't
you.
touch me,
I
or
did
you'll
not
be
touch
arrested
you.
for
It's all
assault.
on camera.
Do you understand
Okay?
me?
I did not touch you. Don't
Don't
tell me
reach
do I
forward.
understand.
Try and touch me.
Okay? Do not tell me. Okay?
Just look,
Right? He's got a real attitude problem. Yes, he has.
Listen, you're not listening.
If you'd like to talk to me for a second, that'd
that's
be great.
fine.
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify some things. You're right, this is a public area. You are entitled to film here. However, your behaviour is causing our staff harassment, alarm and distress.
Who's that then?
So we've had members of our staff complaining about you, filming them, leaving the premises, and that is causing them harassment, alarm and distress.
As
No,
a
listen to me,
police
listen to me,
officer,
listen to me.
or
No,
police
no,
they cannot be the victim of being alarmed and
Yes,
distressed.
yes,
no, they
yes, they
cannot.
can.
You need
Yes,
to
they
actually
can.
look at that. It is
Yes, they
case
can.
law and it is there.
Sir, listen to me. Yes,
Okay.
they can.
No, they
as-
cannot.
Yes, they can. So as such,
Okay.
under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002, I'm going to ask you to provide me your details,
Okay,
your name
right.
and address.
Now, I will
Hang on.
actually state this, okay? Under Section 50,
Yep.
okay, the Police Reform Act,
Yep.
okay, there has to be a member of the public within 150 metres of me.
No, it
okay?
doesn't.
Yes, they
No,
do.
it doesn't,
okay?
'cause the
Right, you
legislation-
will not
the
be getting my
le- the le-
details.
So if you refuse to provide those
Okay.
details, you're liable to be arrested.
You will not get my details. I'll tell you that straight because
That's
I've
fine.
done nothing wrong.
That's fine. I'm going to ask you again. You have.
Okay.
You've caused our staff harassment, alarm, distress.
And I'm going to tell you no.
There is concern around your behaviour and how it's making our staff feel.
And I'm gonna
so
tell
I'm
you
make
no.
that request from you to provide me with your name
And I'm going to
address.
tell you no because I've done nothing wrong.
You're under arrest.
Okay, right. Hang on. Just before you do, would you mind just reading my wrist, please?
The matter ought to have been resolved when the inspector reappeared. Rather, he makes the same faulty claims as his subordinates. Then, going from bad to absurd, he invokes Section 50 of the Police Reform Act. There is no general authority to require identification under Section 50. It only comes into play when there are solid indications that someone is acting in a way that is antisocial to the general population. Plaud was recording a government facility in silence on public property. There were no members of the public there, much less affected. The inspector's refusal to accept the requirement demonstrates either willful legal abuse or severe ineptitude. They arrested Plaud when he refused to give them his information. That wasn't law enforcement. It was a penalty for disobeying.
As we know, I got one offer, okay, that got turned down, and we now have a court date for the end of February, so I will keep you updated on that, peeps. So, as you know, I gave you an update on Inspector Barton, and where it should have actually gone to court at the end of last month, and basically things have sort of been delayed, so I'm now waiting for another date for that, and as soon as I have that, I will let you know.
Everything is altered by Plaud's upgrade. He filed a lawsuit rather than merely filing a complaint after being wrongfully detained under Section 50. Plaud turned down the police force's compensation offer in favor of suing the inspector. That decision is important. Settlements allow forces to covertly conceal wrongdoing. It is exposed via court cases. Depending on damages and aggravating circumstances, compensation might range from £5,000 to £15,000 if Plaud prevails. More significantly, the inspector's conduct would be formally documented as illegal. This entails harm to one's reputation, squandered public monies, and probably disciplinary consequences. The inspector showed a basic ignorance of public filing law right away, creating limitations as he went. That is degrading for someone of his rank. His officers were not taught by him. He taught them how to bluff. Instead of defusing the situation, he intensified it. He mirrored their errors instead of taking the lead. It was demonstrated by the arrest. Instead of providing protection against actual antisocial behavior, Section 50 was transformed into an instrument of coercion used as punishment for non-compliance. Plaud was right when she said that no members of the public were impacted, and the inspector erred when he denied it. The bigger issue was only made worse by the constable's constable's actions. They demonstrated what occurs when ineffective leadership encourages subpar policing, from boisterous applause to claims of fictitious security threats and upset employees. The legislation was not being enforced by them. They were suppressing their feelings and hiding behind rank when confronted. The true cause of the failure is cultural. This was not a single poor choice. It was a system that favors justifications over responsibility. Plaud guarantees that such shortcomings will now be put to the test under the harsh scrutiny of a courtroom by rejecting the settlement.